Hello dear friends, third grader. We got some questions related to the first story, which is A Fine Fine School. From number 1, what does paragraph 2, page 22 show about Mr. Keen? Use 2 details from the story to support your answer. So here he asks about what does paragraph show about this principle? The answer would be paragraph 2 on page 22 showed that Principal Kim wants the students at his fine school to learn everything. هو عايزهم يتعلموا كل حاجة. As a result, كنتيجة, he decides to have school run through the summer. He wants the school to keep teaching the students during the summer. Mr. Keen Mr. Keen thinks that if the students are in school more, هو كان بيعتقد لو الطلبة بيجوا المدرسة أكتر they will learn more and the school even be finer than it is already. So do you understand now? He wants the students to come to school even in summer so that they can learn everything and they would be a finer school. Another question. According to the story A Fine School, why does the principal keep saying it's a fine school? ليه البرنسبل بتاع المدرسة بيقعد يقول it's a fine school? A fine school is the phrase, هي العبارة that the principal uses over and over in the story. بيستخدمها تكرارا ومرارا. The repetition, التكرار ده of these words shows the principal's belief, إيمانه العميق in his school, مدرسته, students and teachers, بالطلبة والمدرسين. Every time he extend the school year, كل مرة كان بيمد فيها العام الدراسي, he would use the word fine to describe the teachers, students and the school. كان بيستخدم كلمة fine عشان يوصف بيها to describe the students with teacher will school. For the learning they do, okay? Another reason that the title is important to the story because the principal is so proud of his students for the learning they do. كمان إن الimportant بتاع التايتل أو عنوان الستوري هو بيوضح إن ال students they do learn. He extend the school year because he believes. قلنا تاني means الnoun بتاعها believe, بيؤمن بيهم. There is a lot more that can be learned to keep his school a fine school. طيب يبقى هو هنا ده العنوان. هو كان عايز يمد العام الدراسي لأنه عنده strong belief, عنده إيمان قوي بيهم إن هما they can do better. So this is the question, the first one. If you want to take a screenshot to study, this one is the second question if you need to have a screenshot to study. Next question. What is the central message in A Fine School? Use 2 details. استخدم اتنين تفصيلتين. Detail means تفصيلة, معلومة فرعية. From the story to support your response. Support your response عشان تدعم الإجابة بتاعتك. احنا عايزين central message أو رسالة أو القيمة بتاعت الستوري دي. The central message of the story A Fine School is that learning can take place everywhere not just in school. إن التعليم ممكن يحصل في أي مكان everywhere not just in school مش بس في المدرسة. Mr. Keen said that he was so proud of the teacher students at his fine school that he wanted them to attend every day. هو كان proud of them كان فخور بيهم وكان عايزهم to attend يحضروا every day. However على الرغم من ذلك but Tilly helps Mr. Keen realize ساعدت Mr. Keen Tilly إنه هو يلاحظ that the learning that takes place outside of the school is just as important. وهي ساعدته to notice that learning outside of the school يعني اللي بيحصل خارج المدرسة التعليم اللامدرسي ده برضو just as important ليه نفس الأهمية. For instance على سبيل المثال for example when Teddy is at school وهي في المدرسة she can teach her brother to skip معرفتش تعلم أخوها ازاي skip ينط الحبل or her dog to sit أو كلبها إنه يقعد. In the end في النهاية Mr. Keen decides to go back to a normal school week. هو قرر إنه هيرجع للnormal school week أو الأسبوع الدراسي العادي so students can learn inside and outside of the school عشان الطلبة يتعلموا جوا وبرا. Okay, I will just pause and you can have a screenshot of the question and answer. Another question. How do the pictures of the students on page 21 to 29 support the information in the passage؟ يعني ازاي illustrations أو pictures اللي موجودة بتسند المعلومات المذكورة في الباسج دي. Use two details هنستعمل two details برضو أو معلومتين to support this from the passage to support your response. Let's read the answer together. The pictures of the students on pages 21 to 29 support the information in the passage by showing how the students feel about going to school every day. هي وضحت ازاي الطلبة كانوا بيشعروا going to school every day احساسهم هم رايحين المدرسة كل يوم. In the illustrations أو pictures الموجودة the students look sad and worried شكلهم حزين وقلقان. On page 27 في picture دي pictures اللي في page 27 it shows a student brushing his teeth. طالب بي brush his teeth أو بيغسل سنانه at his locker على جنب اللوكر بتاعه because he doesn't have time to go home ما عندوش وقت يروح البيت. Pages 21 and 23 show Tilly sadly leaving her brother playing at home. بتورينا تيلي وهي سايبة أخوها بيلعب في البيت لوحده. To go to school, all these illustrations show that students miss having time outside of school. والصور دي بتبين قد ايه الطلبة كانوا مفتقدين انهم يبقى ليهم وقت برا المدرسة to play and do things other than going to school and taking tests خلاف انهم يروحوا المدرسة ويتعلموا في التست. يبقى هنا ده معناه it shows they were worried and sad and they have no time. The boy اللي كان brushing his teeth at the locker and Tilly who left her brother at school and he kept calling on her to come quickly to play with him. Okay. Another question. Mr. Keen's feelings مشاعر Mr. Keen about going to school all year long طول السنة change at different times in the story. اختلفت مشاعره إن الولاد تروح المدرسة طول السنة. When do his feelings change؟ ده أول question. when إمتى؟ why do his feelings change؟ إيه السبب اللي خلاه يغير رأيه من الولاد لازم يروحوا لسكول all year long. Use detail from the story to support your response. واستخدم طبعا details to support أو تدعم إجابتك. And your response should be explain when زي ما قلنا explain why and use details. طيب نشوف كده الأنسر. In the story, the principal's feelings about going to school change at different times. In the beginning, so we got in the beginning and middle, both of the story, Mr. King decides to extend يعني يمد فترة the school year to include weekends and summers. يبقى هو قرر ان ال students هيروحوا المدرسة في ال weekends أول حاجة وبعد كده summers in the middle. He loved his school and was proud of everything that the students were learning. He thought that by extending the year, the students could and would learn everything. So this is the supporting detail. So at the beginning, he loved the school, he was so proud, and he wanted the students to learn everything. But later, at the end of the story, one of the students, who was Tilly, approaches Mr. Keen to let him know عشان حبت تعرفه. Tilly wanted him to know that not everyone is learning by going to school all year long. محدش بيتعلم كل حاجة لما يروح المدرسة طول السنة. Mr. Keen is baffled by her statement but walks around the school to think about what she said. He was so shocked from the answer. How comes that some students are not learning? Who are they? He asked about them. Then he kept walking up and down, up and down, if you remember, to check up on the students. He called the teachers and students together to tell them that هو عمل لهم زي meeting كده to tell them not everyone is learning. مش كل واحد بيتعلم by going to school every day. He changes his mind and decides to go back to the way school used to be with no weekends or summers. إنه يرجع school days زي ما كانت من غير weekends ولا summers. Mr. King's feelings changed throughout the story. He wanted what was best for his students. He didn't realize هو ما أدركش that extending the school year may actually limit their learning. They will learn less by going to school every day. Right? هيتعلموا أقل لو راحوا المدرسة كل يوم. They won't learn about some life skills like brushing teeth, like having a ride on a bike, all of these things. Tilly was able to change his mind by giving examples of what can be learned on the weekends and during the summer by her younger brother, Doug, and even herself. وهي ادتنا examples ازاي هي ممكن تعلم تستفاد في الأجازة دي إنها تتعلم حاجات تانية. Like she can sit in the tree and she could teach her dog to sit and her brother how to skip. Okay. I hope you're doing amazing, students, and you studied a fine school. You can just pause this video and go back and read the story one more time. Listen to the answers of the questions, then try to answer them by yourself. Thank you. See you later.